Good afternoon. Welcome to Cloud Run. What's new? We have great things for you today. It's great to be back for our annual meetup. I am Steren, one of the founders of Google Cloud Run. I'm now Director of Product Management at Google Cloud. From the Cloud Run team, we will be joined by Belinda, Senior Director of Engineering. And we will also be joined by two of my favorite Cloud Run customers. You know them from Replit, VP of Engineering, Scott, and from Anthropic, member of technical staff, Mimi. Let's get started. So, a question for you. What do vibe coders, AI agents, and enterprises have in common? Cloud Run, that's a good question, that's a good answer. They simply need computers. All you need is a computer in the cloud. And these computers must come with minimal overhead, high performance, low maintenance, and cost efficiency. Well, guess what? Cloud Run gives you on-demand computers. You can run anything on Google's world-class infrastructure with zero overhead. It is an experience. It is simple, automated, top satisfaction numbers. It makes you more productive. But it's also a very unique runtime. It's capable, running any code, any container. It is hyper-elastic, scales down to zero, scales very fast on demand. And there is no infrastructure to manage. No VM, no cluster, no infra. The pricing is the cherry on top, where you pay for exactly what you use. There's no flat fee. When you don't use it, you just don't pay for it. Last year, in 2025, the number of Cloud Run external monthly active developers and applications doubled. Why is that? Well, you will see with our agenda today, this is why. Because you can use Cloud Run for running vibe-coded apps. You can use Cloud Run for running AI agents, AI models, and, of course, running scalable apps. That's our agenda for today. Let's start with vibe coding. Who wants to vibe code? Let's vibe code. Let's switch to the demo. This is Google AI Studio. Let's just vibe code an app. A multiplayer 3D racing game. Build. All right, so Gemini is taking my prompt and starts to create a full stack application using React and 3GIS and things like that. This will take a few minutes, so let's switch back to the slides. So, we are in a new era for application builders. For more than 40 years, software development has been constrained by a high technical barrier to entry, limiting who was able to create apps. That era is over. With the current generation of models and AI dev tools, the barrier to entry has collapsed. And once you are done vibe coding, guess what? You need to deploy your application to the cloud. And you want to do that as easily as possible, as cost efficiently as possible, meaning that it's there when you need it, but when you don't need it, you simply don't pay for it. Well, that's where Cloud Run can be useful. Let's check on the demo. All right. So we have, AI Studio has built this car game. OK, that's nice. This is not about building. This is about deploying to Cloud Run. So let's go and click Publish over there. I'm going to select one of my existing Google Cloud projects and click Publish App. So right now, this is going to be taking a minute. AI Studio is going to be building my application. This is not development anymore. This is production mode, right? So right now, it's building my Express application. It has used WebSockets. So it's installing all of those dependencies, packaging them up, and also putting server-side the sensitive things like API keys, Gemini API keys, or anything else, any additional layer of security is added so that then when it's deployed to Cloud Run, it can be shared to the world. So right now, it has finished building, and it's deploying to Cloud Run. We should have a URL pretty soon. It will come. So Cloud Run right now makes sure that the app starts and gives us an HTTPS endpoint that I'm looking forward to clicking on. It will come. So the app is using socket.io. It's a multiplayer app, right? So what I will invite you, we have it. I'm going to open it. Here we are. I don't want to play alone. I want to play with you. Go snap this QR code and join me. Oh, welcome, welcome. OK, let's do this. Join me, play the game, OK? You've snapped it? So how many are we? We are like 600 in this room, maybe more. OK, I want to play. And normally, I think, we can, thank you, we can all drive together. So that's using WebSockets. Cloud Run supports WebSockets out of the box. Does it have mobile control? Can you control on your mobile phones? OK, anyway, that's a lot of you. That was fun. Let's switch back to the slides. So, obviously, when you create your app like this, if it goes viral, like we just did, you might be worried about how much it will cost you. Right? Vibe coders, especially, want budget predictability. For that, we are introducing spend caps. You simply define a monthly spend. And if your bill reaches this limit, your Cloud Run resources are automatically paused. Glad you like it. We are also launching a fully managed MCP server for Cloud Run that you can give to your AI dev tool or AI agent to deploy and manage Cloud Run apps. So notably, this MCP server allows you to deploy a container image, a zip file, or even file content that you pass on the fly from your agent to Cloud Run. So let's see it in action. Because we have Anthropic joining us on stage, I decided to do a demo with Cloud Code. So here, I'm asking Cloud Code to generate a Node.js Hello World application listening for requests on the environment variable port. So of course, Cloud Code can do that. And now I'm telling Cloud Code to deploy the app to Cloud Run in my project in a given region. If I did not pass my project, I would have been prompted for it. So that's why I passed it right away. And now, Cloud Code, I've configured it to use the official Cloud Run remote MCP server. And you see that it's using the deploy service from file content. So it did not even have to create a container or a zip file. It just passed the files on the fly, and we get a URL back that says hello world. So that was pretty nice. The official MCP server for Cloud Run with Cloud Code. To tell you more about how Cloud Run supports Vibe coders, I'm going to invite Scott from Replit.
Thank you, Steeren. Yeah, I'm Scott from Replit. Steeren calls us one of his best customers, but picking Cloud Run was one of our best choices too, so I'm here to talk about why that was. Hands up in the room if you already know what Replit is. All right, pretty good. Keep the hand up if you're a user. Pretty good too, okay, not bad. For those of you who don't know, Replit is the leading vibe coding platform for knowledge workers. Meaning we don't sell to software engineers, we sell to sort of everybody else. That could be PMs, designers, you could be in RevOps, go-to-market. somewhere where you need software built. So you can put in a prompt, we will build your front end, your back end, we will provision a database, set up auth, do everything for you so you get your working app. And then, once you're happy with it, it's sort of one-click deploy, and then behind the covers, we are provisioning a Cloud Run service, getting that up for you, and you get your URL on the internet where you can share it. So maybe you needed to make a partner portal for your week here at Cloud Next, and we can do that for you. Now, this is just sort of a one-shot prompt, but what we're really good at is you can keep going and you can keep iterating to get fairly complex apps, but then it's all packaged up in a way that's a little bit easier to use if you're not traditionally a software engineer. So who are all these vibe coders? We have a wide range of users, but I like to really zoom in on two segments that I care about. So one, you've got who I would call the prosumer. This is somebody who has a great idea or maybe always had a great idea. They know some industry really well. Maybe they're well networked, so that gives them distribution. And just they never had an engineering team handy. They couldn't hire one. They hired the wrong one, something like that. And I'm constantly amazed at how many people out in the world have these ideas and build things and then end up succeeding. Weirdly, there are a lot of CEOs in this cohort. I think CEOs just always have a lot of ideas, and maybe no engineering team's big enough to build them all, but you'll notice that in this group. Outside of the prosumer, you also see a lot of people using Replit at work, and so in enterprises. This could be anything from building prototypes, because it speeds up your software development lifecycle. You can get more conviction on an idea if you can touch it and play with it. You can make decisions faster. You might build an internal tool that the rest of your company can use to be more productive. Or in some cases, we see people actually shipping all the way to production, somebody who's not in the engineering team traditionally. That is maybe one of the smaller segments today, but I foresee that really growing as models get better, as we get better about securing and maintaining vibe-coded software. And also, you would find me. I use Replit at work to do things on Replit. Before working at Replit, I spent a long time at Google. Google has really great code review tools. It has a good owner system, good statistics, a nice dashboard for managing it, and GitHub's a little lacking, I would say. So we built our own app on top of the GitHub API. This is running on a Cloud Run instance right now. It's just only accessible to people at the company. So why do I say that Cloud Run ended up being such a good bet for us? So from somebody who's just doing a one-shot, cheap idea to the person who's running something that's really in production and has a lot of users, Cloud Run actually captures both ends of that really well. It's cost efficient with the request time billing, and for 7 years, they've known how to serve 2 requests off the same instance, which is pretty nice. And that means you can try ideas cheap. Ideas don't have to feel heavy or expensive. But then when you need it, the scaling's there. You can get as many as users. We've never had somebody scale off. We can always handle the load. And then finally, reliability, just a great track record, very secure, and it's been able to handle pretty massive growth for us. About a year ago, my CEO shared this chart. He hid the y-axis, but at the time, it was about 150,000 published projects active on Replit at the time. 1 year later, we're now around 1.2 million active deployments, the vast majority of these on Cloud Run. And so I sometimes wonder, 1 year from now, if I were to look back at this, I wonder how big this chart can be. So far, the Cloud Run team doesn't break a sweat. I'm looking over at Steeren, doesn't seem too worried, so I'll hand it back to him to tell more.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Scott. Yes, indeed, the charts are going up to the right. All right, we've seen how you can deploy your vibe-coded apps to Cloud Run. Well, guess what? There is another type of workload for which Cloud Run is very popular and an extremely good fit: AI agents. So first, what is an AI agent? It's a new type of workload for us. It's made of a harness, that's basically the brain, the thing that calls the model, of course, but also orchestrates things. It needs memory, persistent memory. It uses tools. They can be local, or they can be remote, like an MCP server. And what is obvious today is that those agents, like regular employees, they need computers. They need a sandbox to do the work. So all of these points have different runtime needs. The sandbox, what is a sandbox? It's just a computer in the cloud. Like to execute complex actions like manipulating files, writing code, compiling code, executing code, coding tools, CLI, API, MCP. AI agents need a dedicated computer, ideally with full Linux compatibility. Well, guess what? With secure, on-demand compute, Cloudrun is an ideal runtime to safely and efficiently host agent harness, tools, and sandboxes. So let's see what we have new for you. Today, Google announced Gemini Enterprise Agent Platform, and of course, Cloudrun integrates with it. By simply flagging your Cloudrun resources as being agents, they now are automatically registered into a central agent registry. They can even get their own dedicated identity. And you can govern all of this in a central place, the agent platform. You can also flag your Cloudrun services as being MCP servers. And because of that, they will start to show up in Gemini Enterprise Agent Platform. We talked about Sandbox. Today, we are announcing Cloudrun Sandboxes, allowing you to do secure, on-the-fly code execution from within your Cloudrun resources. So the Cloudrun Sandbox will spin up an ephemeral, isolated, micro-VM-based sandbox to execute things like agent-generated code, scripts, or even you can even run Chrome in those sandboxes. So in that small code snippet, I'm receiving a request, I'm passing the request body as Python, and then I'm sending the code to the sandbox to execute it securely and safely. Like this untrusted Python code will not escape the sandbox, and more importantly, will not be able to interfere with my agent or application code. Next, we are also announcing Cloudrun instances. So Cloudrun instances is basically a new primitive. It simply gives you access to individual Cloudrun instances instead of through predefined resources like services, jobs, and worker pools. They start in seconds, and they are ideal for agents. You can design, you can deploy asynchronous, long-running background agents that need this isolated on-demand compute. They are priced very efficiently. They don't scale down. They don't scale up. You ask for one instance, you have one instance. But for example, if you look at the gcloud command, you can deploy OpenCloud in one command on a Cloudrun instance, and it will keep running for as long as you want. We, of course, also have an SDK in case you want to programmatically create instances, and they support any container. Cloudrun instances also have SSH support. So you can just SSH into your Cloudrun containers. That's also coming to Cloudrun services and other resources, by the way. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, that was a long time coming. So of course, many of you have asked for that for advanced troubleshooting or inspecting what's happening in Cloudrun, and now that's possible. That's opt-in, that's protected by IAM, and this is powered by identity-aware proxy and OS logging. So the experience is the one you would expect. gcloud, run instances, services, SSH, and then you are in. You can run Linux commands and see what's happening inside your container. On top of that technology, we've actually built a dev loop. So, you know, it's pretty hard to try to emulate a cloud platform on your local laptop, right? You don't have your dependencies. If you use databases, you have to use local databases or connect to the remote ones. Well, just develop on Cloudrun, right? So with devsync, the devsync command will automatically synchronize your local folder with the Cloudrun instance. And then it will run the dev script of your application. It will hot swap the code. Let's see it in action. So here, this is localhost. As you see, localhost doesn't have access to the Gemini API to generate an image. I could add an environment variable and everything, but I could also just develop in the cloud by running the devsync command. So that's done. I get a URL. This is in the cloud now. And if you see, I'm changing the title. I hit save, and in just 2 seconds, the remote URL gets updated. Like the code gets live updated. What's the beauty of that is that if you see here, I'm using the app. So the app is running, and I can still make changes. The framework I'm using is going to hot swap the code without losing the state. So here I made a change, and it still appeared live without losing my state. So you can just develop in the cloud. So we've covered vibe-coded apps, AI agents. Well, you probably know at this point that you can also run AI models on Cloud Run. Cloud Run GPUs are on demand, scale to 0, fast starting, and pay per use, of course. So we introduced them a year and a half ago, and many people have been using them to do inference. You've complained about the GPUs we were offering as being too small. Well, guess what? We've now introduced NVIDIA RTX Pro 6000 Blackwell, which is an high-end AI inference and fine-tuning GPU. So you can deploy much larger models on these GPUs, and they have an excellent price-performance ratio. So it's a simple checkbox, as usual. You want a GPU, check GPU, you have it. No reservation, no quota. You have it. And on the CLI, it's the same. You just pick a new GPU type. In that case, I'm using a ZML as an inference server, which is a very efficient inference server to serve Gemma, for example. So this is a new GPU we've added to Cloud Run, but we've also added GPUs to Cloud Run jobs. So we've seen customers using Cloud Run jobs with GPU to do fine-tuning. And so you can fine-tune for an hour or even longer an open model on a Cloud Run job, and when it's done, it scales down to 0. We've also introduced delayed execution. So you can achieve cost savings if you decide that the job doesn't need to execute right now. We will guarantee you that it will execute within the next 12 hours. Finally, AI inference workloads or other workloads too need disks to manipulate files, large files. So we have now delivered FML disks for Cloud Run that, oh, glad you like it. Yes, so in the past, your file system was in memory, so you had to pick a big memory size if you wanted to manipulate big files. Well, now, you can have a dedicated FML disk that can go to large number of gigabytes. So that's it for AI inference. We'll now cover how Cloud Run can run your apps that demand the highest scalability.
So Cloud Run was built to scale from day one. We built it from first principles, and you've heard us already talk about the ability to scale up and down from 0. It really is a way to get around sort of traditional hardware-bound scaling. And enables independent microservices and cost efficiency, given those qualities of the product. So what's actually new in terms of scalability for Cloud Run is the introduction of custom scaling controls. So for most of our customers, most of their workloads, most of the time, they can use our auto scaler as is. There's lots of configuration options, but some of our customers were looking for more fine-grained control, and that's what the custom scaling controls give them. So you can choose things like strict minimums or maximum instance limits, as an example, and it allows you to perfectly balance cost predictability with the ability to seamlessly scale for the traffic surges that are expected for your application. Now, you've heard about services. So services are request-based services that we scale on based on the traffic that you see. Jobs, of course, are more for batch-based workloads, right? So run a batch to completion. And to complement these, we now have Cloud Run worker pools. And so worker pools just reached general availability. These are always-on instances, and they're specifically designed for continuous background tasks, like pull-based workloads, or the ability to do distributed AI fine-tuning, such as with the Blackwell GPUs that Staren just mentioned. Now, a really perfect use case for this is actually with one of our partners, Temporal. They're also presenting at Cloud Next, so hopefully you can catch their talk. So what Temporal does as part of their Temporal Cloud is they use Temporal workers, which constantly long poll for available tasks, and they don't listen to a public port, so it actually makes them a perfect architecture and a perfect match for worker pools. And so to scale these workers dynamically, we've introduced what we called CREMA, and CREMA is the Cloud Run External Metrics Auto-Scaling, because we love acronyms, and that is powered by CADA, more acronyms, which is the Kubernetes event-driven autoscaler. Now, there's no Kubernetes actually inside, but it's a wonderful open source component and gives us a very standard API, which gives the ability for us to scale containers based on any event. And so CREMA allows Temporal's Temporal's worker pools to automatically scale up and down from 0 on external metrics, and they can configure whatever external metrics make sense to them. Some example is they use things like backlog count as part of their temporal task queues. And again, there's no Kubernetes clusters required, but it gives them a lot more flexibility in terms of how they can use Cloud Run for these types of workloads that are more sort of pull-based. So we're excited to see worker pools come to fruition. So if you haven't tried it yet, we recommend giving it a spin. And so then as your microservice footprint grows, securely connecting them starts to become a little bit of a networking headache. And so we're now introducing what are called service bindings that's currently in private preview. So a service binding allows for a streamlined private way to route service-to-service calls. So when you use a service binding to connect your services, we automatically inject a service account JWT, which is a JSON web token, to seamlessly authenticate the client to your Cloud Run destination. And this simplifies the service communication because it completely removes the need for the developers to be kind of more hands-on doing things like manual configuration of complex networking or having to write custom auth logic. And so the developers means they can make very secure internal calls using very simple context-aware short names, such as what you see illustrated above, so that you can reach that destination service from within the same project or region. These are things that many customers have as sort of a default experience, for instance, when they're coming from Kubernetes, and it's something that has been really one of our top requests from customers that want to use Cloud Run for their internal services. So with that, we're going to now transition to Mimi from our partner Anthropic, who's going to deep dive into how they're using Cloud Run as part of their AI infrastructure.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mimi. Today, I'm going to walk you through how Anthropic built its most security-critical data platform on Cloud Run. A quick word on Anthropic. Our mission is the responsible development and maintenance of advanced AI for the long-term benefits of humanity. This mission shapes how we handle data. It's not just about meeting the compliance requirement, but also setting the bar for how AI companies should treat user data. Now, here is the problem. As cloud grew across web, mobile, API, development tools, conversation data ended up scattered across different legacy systems. With inconsistent encryption, no unifying access control, no single place we can reason about it. And we need one system with security built-in from the start. That's what the system we built. So in the next few minutes, I will cover the architecture, why Cloud Run was the right foundation for it, and what it looks like running at scale today. So let me start with two requirements. First is the volume. Billions of conversation messages flow through Cloud every day across Cloud Code, Cloud AI, and all other product services we have. We need one system that we can reason about the data usage, not a single patchwork of per product use. And second, the access governance. Every role is written in a no-read state by default. And we need a gated OR stack to enforce access at request time. And every read should be audit logged with a business justification at role level granularity, so that nothing should be readable just because it exists. With these two requirements, let's come to this end-to-end data flow. So as data comes in from all our product surfaces, it lands on cloud PubSub either directly or staged through GCS for larger payloads. We have a Cloud Run ingestion service, picks it up, encrypt each record, compress it, and build search indexes, then write it to Cloud Bigtable. With Cloud KMS handling key derivation scoped per use case. On the read side, a separate Cloud Run serving API will do the reverse, fetch, decrypt, stream data back to all our consumers. One thing I'd highlight here, Cloud Run is the compute backbone for both ends of this pipeline, and plain text data only ever exists transiently inside those two services, never at rest. The symmetry is deliberate, and that's what the rest of the talk will unpack. Now, let's see why we choose Cloud Run. 4 reasons. First, it's serverless by design. Both of our services are stateless, and 95% of our traffic comes in from our offline batch workload, with only 5% is interactive. So the workload itself is bursty. Cloud Run's request-driven model is a natural fit for this. Second, scale to 0. Idle service costs nothing, so our team can spin up experimental pipeline with no provisioning conversation required, which makes the barrier to trying something new really low. Third, operation model. There's no infra to manage, no cluster, no pool, no OS patching. We are really small team for data infra, so we want our engineer time goes into the application level logic instead of the substrate. Fourth, binary authorization. Cloud Run enforces that only a tested container image can be deployed. Every running instance is built from trusted code. And for a security critical system, that guarantee from the platform layer is huge for us. Now, let's see what this looks like in production today. So our serving tier runs around 10,000 instances on an average day, scaling to 20,000 instances at peak, handling roughly 200,000 QPS. Our ingestion service is a bit smaller, but still with 4,000 instances on average, handling roughly 100,000 QPS. So from all of this, what has this actually delivered in practice for us? 4 numbers was pulling out. Idle cost is effectively 0, and cluster management overhead is also 0. We auto-scale to 20,000 instances with no capacity planning on our side, and the cold start stays under 60 seconds, which makes our bursty workload viable on this platform. One caveat, these are all Cloud Run's contributions specially, separate from all the application work we have done on top. To wrap up, Cloud Run gives us the serverless foundation for a system to be both secure and massively scalable at the same time. Our per record encryption, like policy governed access, tens of thousands auto-scaled instances, all on the infrastructure we don't have to manage. All that combination lets our small team to operate this safely at scale. Thank you all for attending, and happy to take any questions offline. And if you want to go deeper, we have 2 related sessions. One is today at 3:45 p.m., talks about what's new in streaming, real-time data for agentic AI. The other one is on Friday at 9:45 a.m., talks about scaling intelligence, how Anthropic secure cloud with Bigtable. Thank you. Oh.
Thank you, Mimi. So, what you should take away from all of this is that Cloud Run is the platform that delivers on-demand compute for everyone, whatever your workload might be. From vibe-coded apps, which need cost-efficient, easy-to-deploy, scale-to-zero environments, AI agents, which require dedicated instances to run for a long time, or isolated sandboxes to safely execute untrusted code, to AI models, which need on-demand pay-per-use GPUs for fine-tuning or fast inference, to large-scale applications like we've just seen, which require fast-starting instances to seamlessly handle massive traffic spikes. That's Cloud Run, and we are very glad to give all of that to you. Continue your journey with all of those sessions, which will deep dive into many of the things you've seen today. Your feedback is always appreciated. Use the mobile app for that. If you want to participate in UX research, we care a lot about testing things before we release them. Scan this QR code, and you will be able to participate in Cloud Run's usability studies or research. And finally, I want to thank all of you for coming. I want to thank all of you for being Cloud Run customers and users. Keep the feedback coming and keep using Cloud Run. Thank you.